Today we're looking at CS50's Introduction to Programming with Python Week 1, Deep Thought. If we read the problem, it says, in deep.py, implement a program that prompts the user for the answer to the great question of life, the universe, and everything. Outputting yes if the user inputs 42 as digits, or 42 hyphenated, or 42 as 2 words. Otherwise, output no. And we should handle the input case insensitively. So basically, we need to print yes if the user inputs 42, or 42, and no if they input basically anything else. First, we need to take input from the user, so we can use the input function and enter this really long question. And we can save all of this inside a variable which we will call answer. Now, when it comes to testing this, it does say that our program should behave as expected, case and space insensitively, meaning we should account for the user inputting any variation of cases and also any leading or trailing blank spaces. It's best for us to handle this now, so we only need to do it once, and then our conditionals are checking against a clean string, if you like, meaning the string they're checking against is all lowercase and it has no white space, either trailing or leading. So for this, we can use two methods. The strip method, which is going to return a copy of the string with the leading and trailing characters removed. The chars argument is a string specifying the set of characters to be removed. If omitted or none, the chars argument defaults to removing white space. And the lower method, which is going to return a copy of the string with all the case characters converted to lowercase. We can chain these method calls directly onto the end of our input function like this. What you'll notice is that straight away this line is getting really long and quite unreadable. And since Python is all about readability, we should probably do something to fix this. So we can actually break this into two lines. As long as we stay within the brackets of the input function, we can break the string in the middle. And although technically we're creating two separate strings, they'll be joined back together automatically when input prints the prompt. So if we break them here, and then we need to make sure we actually have two separate strings. But as I said, they will be joined back together. So for the user, they're going to see the exact same thing. And then we can have our method calls on this second line. And now everything is fitting much better on our screen and it's just a lot more readable overall. Okay, so now we have our user's input. We need to compare it with our allowed answers and print either yes or no. There's a couple of ways to do this, but if we stick with the material that's been taught so far in the course, we can say if answer is equal to 42, print yes. Elif, which is Python's else if, answer is equal to 42. Oops. Print yes. Elif answer is equal to 42. Print yes. And then finally we can have else, print no, which is for anything that doesn't match those three conditionals. And you may have noticed that the 42 here is in quotation marks. So we're actually checking against a string. And that's because input is always going to return a string to us. Even if the user inputs the digits 4 and 2, it's going to return a string of the digits 4 and 2 and not an int. So if we try and check against 4, 2 like this as an integer, it's never going to get the comparison and the program is not going to work how we expect it to work. So we need to make sure that that's a string. So we could go and test this and it will work fine, but it just doesn't look like very good design. If for each case we're printing the exact same thing over and over regardless, then we could actually simplify this with Python's OR keyword. So we could say if answer is equal to 42 or answer is equal to 42, whoops, or answer is equal to 42, then we print yes. And then we can remove these two else if statements and we can just have else no. And I think that's a far cleaner way of saying the same thing and a much better design since we're no longer just repeating ourselves over and over again. Okay, so let's jump over to our terminal and give this a quick test. So if we say python deep.py and we input 42, then we get back yes. If we run it again and we import 42, again, we get yes, and the last one, let's try this. And again, we get back yes. So our caps insensitivity is working. And let's just try a wrong answer just to make sure. If we would put 45, then we get back no. So everything's working as it should. That was deep thought. If you have another solution, then leave it in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe for more like this.